Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're checking out some incredibly fun battles in the Kanto Cup featuring Fire Blast Shadow Magmar. Magmar is a very attack-weighted Pokemon, so combining that with the Shadow Attack bonus and Fire Blast, this thing can do some truly obscene amounts of damage. We're running Shadow Magmar on the save switch with a Dragonair lead and Overheat Kanto Ninetales in the back. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Fire Blast Shadow Magmar in action in the Kanto Cup. Hopping to the first match, sending Dragonair into Shadow Nidoqueen. We have a pretty nice matchup in the Zero Shield, so I am going to stay in and play it out. These Dragon Breaths doing a ton of damage onto the Shadow Nidoqueen, and they reach the Poison Fang. We tank that, and then we're going to fire back with the Aqua Tail. This will do quite a lot of damage if it lands, which it does. We save switch Shadow Magmar, and we're able to Karate Chop down before they reach a Poison Fang. That is huge. Opponent is going to bring in Shadow Kanto Ninetales, and we are going straight for the Fire Blast. Do they respect the damage from Fire Blast? They do not get one shot by a resisted move, and they have Shadow Lapras in the back. At this point, this game is over. Shadow Magmar on an absolute rampage. Karate Chop's doing a lot of damage as well. I should have no-shielded here, but honestly, I was like, on the off chance we reach another Fire Blast, I want to, but there was no shot of me ever reaching it. But either way, we're in a very safe spot. We go for the catch with Dragonair, fail the catch, farm down anyway, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, picking up a very nicely Dragonair into Alolan Marowak. It is Hex Alolan Marowak, they safe switch into Venusaur, and I'm going to respond with Kanto Ninetales. Trying to get to Weather Ball before they reach a move, but I end up losing the CMP tie. That is quite unfortunate. But I will actually undercharge here, only to a nice, so that way I'm going to be able to fire spin them down and leave with some extra energy. And if Alolan Marowak tries to farm down, we are going to be able to reach an Overheat, and this, even when resisted, will do a ton of damage. Overheat connects and gets the Alolan Marowak below half health. Kanto Ninetales able to reach a second Overheat, and if this doesn't KO, I'm going to try and snipe with Dragonair. I try, I fail, and they bring in a Charmer, so the snipe attempt goes disastrously wrong. Going for the Aqua Tail, we do get a shield, so we have a shield advantage and a Shadow Magmar. Unfortunately, the Alolan Marowak has a ton of energy in the back. They have at least 2 moves, so that is something that I have to be mindful of. Clefable also does have a move, and I'm forced to burn a shield here. I need to try and bait with a Fire Punch, so that way I can hopefully land a Fire Blast later in the match. Building up, going for the Fire Punch, we do get the shield, and I have to watch for a catch. In comes the Alolan Marowak, and I know they have back-to-back moves. So I'll shield one, switch, and catch the second onto Kanto Ninetales. Now from here, I will be able to Karate Chop down the Ghost type, and can we reach the Fire Blast? Shadow Magmar is able to reach it. This is going to be more than enough, taking out the Clefable, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, sending Dragonair into Shadow Machamp. Honestly, Shadow Machamp is a pretty big issue for this entire team. I'm going to stay in as the Dragon Breaths add up quite a bit, but so do the counters. So I am actually going to commit the shield because I do want to try and preserve some health, and then I'm going to fire back with the Aqua Tail. It is a Shadow Machamp. They are going to be shielding. I save switch into the Shadow Magmar. They bank a bunch of energy and they bring in Nidoqueen. At this point, I have 1 win condition. We are going straight for the Fire Blast. Fire Blast is shielded. They farm down. And at this point, I do not see a win con. Absolutely heartbreaking. Opponent actually did respect the Fire Blast, and I concede the match. Hopping to the next match, sending Dragonair into the mirror, but the opponent is running the Shadow. I am going to be staying in this match if they do, but they end up safe switching into Lickitung. I don't have a great response to a Lickitung, so I'm going to stay in myself. Opponent overfarms a bunch, and I'm going straight for the Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse connects, and then I'm going to bring in Kanto Ninetales. This is the bulkiest Pokemon on my team. Ninetales should be able to absorb these hits no problem. They go for the back-to-back body slams, and they get the deny. That is quite unfortunate. I'm a little scared that they might make a third. Ninetales trying to farm down, and is able to do so. The fact that I don't have to burn a shield there is huge. Back in comes Shadow Dragonair, going straight for the Overheat. It connects, and does a ton of resisted damage. Unfortunately, our clocks are misaligned, so I am going to wait my switch clock before I bring in my Dragonair. They're staying in, trying to get to a move, and they're not able to. In the back is Magneton. We bring in Shadow Magmar, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, switching Dragonair into Alolan Raticate. Pretty neutral lead, opponent is going to save switch into Shadow Nidoqueen, and this is a bit of an issue for me. I don't have a great response to a Shadow Nidoqueen save switch, so I stay in with the Dragonair. We are able to grab a shield, and they've farmed up a ton of energy. At this point, I'm just going to call the Poison Fang. It is, we barely survive, and then bring in Kanto Ninetales. I'm hoping they go for the Earth Power, because if I shield and it's the Earth Power, and it is, we should be able to farm down here before they reach a second move. That is fantastic. They're going to bring back in Alolan Raticate. I'm farming up a bunch and then going for the Overheat. This will do big damage if it lands. It does, nearly taking out the Raticate, and I'm able to reach a Weather Ball. This is debuffed, so it probably won't KO, but it will get them very low, and they have Haunter in the back. Haunter with energy is very scary. They go for the farm down. I'm going for the Overheat. On the off chance they no-shield it, it will KO, and we're able to get the shield. They have a ton of energy. I have a Magmar. We bring in the Magmar, and we're able to catch onto Dragonair. Let's go. Now from here, all we have to do is just reach the Fire Punch. Shadow Magmar is going to be able to reach it. We do lose the CMP tie, but we have a shield remaining, so we commit the shield. Fire Punch will be taking them out, and the Lowland Raticate is going to be taken out by one Karate Chop, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Dragonair into Hisuian Electrode. This is a fantastic lead. Opponent safe switches into Dugong, and we respond with Shadow Magmar. They only built up to an Icy Wind. That's going to be resisted, and I do not have to shield it. And from here, I'm going to throw 6 Karate Chops, so I can throw the Fire Blast on the CMP tie for the second Icy Wind. Even when debuffed, Fire Blast more than enough to take out the Dugong. And they bring in their final Pokemon of Nidoqueen. Not able to reach another Fire Blast. Fire Punch will still hurt though, and we're able to grab a shield. From here, with shield advantage, I'm feeling pretty good about the situation that we're in. My entire team does very well against Hisuian Electrode. So I'm going to bring in the Dragonair. Dragonair tanks an Earth Power, not super well though, and we're firing back with the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail does get the final shield, and now it's 2 Shield Ninetales versus the world. Even though they're probably going to be going Poison Fang, I do want to shield just in case. So I do commit the shield. We're farming up, and I'm going for the Weather Ball. I'm hoping that this will be enough to take out the Nidoqueen. Weather Ball almost takes them out, and they bring in the Hisuian Electrode. I am going straight for the Weather Ball. This will do quite a lot of damage. Almost taking them out, trying to farm down, and they go for a move. At this point, they have to Wild Charge to KO, so I'm just going to let it through. That debuffed their defense, and from here, Dragonair farms down the rest of their team, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Dragonair into Dragonite, the Battle of the Dragons. We do need to stay in here. We are going to be able to reach the Aqua Tail. Unfortunately, Aqua Tail is not enough to KO, and if they know that, which they do, they can no-shield and still reach a Dragon Claw. I will let this through. And then I'm just going to get energy on Shadow Magmar. Shadow Magmar with an energy lead can be quite scary. And they bring in Haunter. Haunter is not what I was hoping to see, because Haunter is triple resisting the Karate Chops. Fire Punch gets the shield. I bring in the Kanto Ninetales, and Haunter is staying in. This tells me that they could very well be weak in the back to fire, and if so, then I should be in an okay spot. I'm able to grab the final shield, and I decide to call the bait, and it is the Shadow Punch. That is huge. Haunter goes for another move. At this point, I'm just going to trust in Shadow Magmar. Let's see if Shadow Magmar can actually clutch this for us. Back in comes Shadow Magmar, trying to get to a Fire Punch. Opponent catches, and it's on an Electrode. Is it Hisuian? It is, and we have a win con. Can we farm down? We can. We leave with the Fire Punch, but we lose CMP. Are we going to be KO'd through the shield here? Do we have more than 1 HP? We do! Able to survive the 1 damage that goes through the shield, taking out the Haunter, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Dragonair into Poliwrath. Pretty neutral lead, depends on Poliwrath's moveset, and the opponent is going to save switch into Lickitung. Again, I don't have a great response to a Lickitung safe switch, so I'm going to stay in, eat the body slam, and then fire back with the Dragon Pulse. We have seen this land before. It does a ton of damage onto Lickitung. Dragon Pulse, unfortunately, is shielded. I do bring in Shadow Magmar. Shadow Magmar is quite glassy, so I will shield up the body slam, as that would do a lot of our remaining HP. I will overfarm quite a bit and then go for the Fire Punch. Fire Punch will be enough to KO from this range, and it is able to knock out the Lickitung. Opponent is waiting their switch clock, and they bring back in Poliwrath. We are building up, and we're able to reach the Fire Blast. This will be resisted, but will hurt if it lands, and the opponent respects it, and they commit the shield. Magmar farming up, trying to reach a second, but the opponent does not want to let that happen, and they go for the Scald to take us out. The fact that they didn't Ice Punch there tells me they're not running Ice Punch. So I'm going to bring in Dragonair just to force them to throw, and then it's all up to Ninetales with a shield advantage. At this point, I'm just going to keep farming up with the Ninetales. I will need to commit the shield and basically just hope that they try and catch and bring in that third Pokemon. They're farming up a bunch. They bring in the third, and it is Pidgeot. I farm up as much as I can, and I'm going for the Overheat. Overheat does big damage. Can we farm down? Yes, we can. And we leave with a second Overheat. Ninetales putting in a ton of work. Even when debuffed, Overheat takes out the Poliwrath. And that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Dragonair into Lickitung. As I mentioned earlier, Lickitung definitely not the easiest Pokemon for this team to handle, as it just outbulks every single one of my Pokemon, which can make it hard to deal with. They end up safe switching into a Poison Jab Alolan Muck, going for the Dragon Pulse, and the opponent does commit the shield. With a shield advantage, KANTO Ninetales should do fairly well here. I will respect the potential Dark Pulse, and thankfully it is not an Acid Spray bait. Then I'm going to overfarm quite a bit and then go for Overheat just before they reach another Dark Pulse. Overheat will easily KO from this range, and back in comes Lickitung. Lickitung is able to reach a move, but we do not get knocked out here. We will survive the Body Slam and get off the Overheat, and this will do quite a lot of damage even when debuffed. Overheat does quite a lot. They're going for an aggressive farm down, and they're able to get it. I bring in Dragonair to force them to throw, and at this point, I'm just going to trust in Shadow Magmar. In comes Shadow Magmar, and they have Shadow Nidoqueen in the back. And at this point, this is basically good game. I have one win con, and that is to go straight for the Fire Blast, hoping against hope that they decide to call a bait. Come on, please! They shield the Fire Blast, and unfortunately, that is a good game. Hopping to the final match, leading Dragonair into Hypno. Fairly neutral lead overall. Opponent is going to safe switch into Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales, and we respond with KANTO Ninetales. We should be in a fantastic spot here. We resist whatever they decide to throw. They go for the Dazzling Gleam. We tank that no problem. We farm up to the back-to-back Weather Balls, and we're going to be able to grab the knockout. We're able to take out the Alolan Ninetales. Back in comes Hypno, and the fact that they switched a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales into my Dragonair makes me think that this very well could be Double Fairy. Unfortunately, they are able to farm down, but honestly, I'm not going to shield a thing here, because I'm fully expecting that Magmar is going to have to clutch the game. They are running Thunder Punch. I try and farm down, and I'm not quite able to. So they are clearly running resisted punches. That's a Fire Punch, and they do have a Charmer in the back. Going for the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail does get the shield, and now we bring in Shadow Magmar. We are going to have to bait. Shadow Magmar is pretty glassy, so we farm up to the Fire Blast, going for the Fire Punch bait. Fire Punch does get the shield, and now can we reach the Fire Blast? Yes, we can! Fire Blast is gonna be banishing the Wigglytuff, bring back in the Hypno, taking out the Hypno as well, and that is a good game. All in all, I had an incredible amount of fun running this team. The combination of Shadow Fire Blast and Overheat on the same team really allows you to output a massive amount of damage, so even if one gets shielded, you're probably going to be able to land the other one. I'm not sure if I'd recommend this team for climbing rank and pushing for wins, but I did have a pretty good run with it on the day, going 8-3 and landing a ton of nuke moves in the process. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.